Hey everybody, welcome! So, hello Maria. Nope, it's not spider time. I know I said that on Saturday, but I was mistaken. Because today, we got to announce the winner of our creature design challenge. We had 8 participants. I think they're 8, unless I counted myself in also. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with mine. So, not bad, not bad. I'm actually waiting for Chase. I don't know if he's going to join now, because maybe we can do the announcement together. Or I can go ahead and make the announcement and then go over the pieces one by one. Let's see what he says. So basically, just to describe what happened here, this is the piece that I submitted. Obviously, I'm not participating. It was just because I wanted to do it. The challenge was about, for those of you who are just tuning in, drawing a Minotaur, vaguely, like loosely inspired by the legend. So it has to be a half bull, half humanoid thing, monster. And I chose this one. I use a different style than I usually do because I am kind of trying to switch to something a little more realistic than just the cartoony thing I usually do in Psy. But oh hey, we got someone here. Hello, Chase.
Hello, I have joined everybody.
Hello, hello. Let me up my volume a little bit because otherwise I can't hear you. Okay. Hello, student 17. No, you're not late. You're not late. Yes, welcome, Chase. I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing all right.
Okay, cool. So, for some reason, I hear all of the volumes a little lower, so I'm gonna bump yours up a little bit. I think it's something with my audio. All right.
Ooh, I got 300 channel points for the Art of Nemo's channel.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't set them up yet. So anyway, without further ado, let's announce the winner, who is, hello, Alessandro's piece. I don't think he is here right now, but he's probably going to watch this in the VOD. So this is the one we chose as the winner because, well, first it's a complete scene, but I also noticed that he put a lot of effort in trying to figure out more details about the legend. Like, he actually dug up the fact that apparently the thread was red, which I didn't know. So kudos to him. He's the winner. He's going to get the full paint over in a few minutes. But before that, let's go ahead and start with everyone else's work. So we're going to go over them just a little bit with some maybe pointers on how to make them better. Do you want to say something about it, Chase? Something about the winning piece?
I'm totally shocked at this one.
Yeah,
no,
sure. No, it's not true.
This is a really great piece. Yeah, I just love the way he integrated it into a scene and the way he sort of wove the mythos into the actual work. I mean, it's just really fantastic job.
Yeah. All right, so let's go over the pieces. First, we'll do Maria since she's about to go to study. So this is her piece. I think it's a fair piece. It's an interesting concept. I would say it feels like there's a lot going on, and you might want to simplify things a little bit. There are a few things that could be improved immediately. Like, for example, there's a tangent here. Let me use the red marker. So usually we try not to put things that are different at different distances too close.
Nemo.
So they look at, yeah.
You might want to explain, just in case anyone watching doesn't know, what you mean by a tangent.
Yeah, I was doing that. So basically, this is what we have here. This is the plane, and we got the tail here. That's very, very close. So it kind of it makes it annihilates basically the feeling of distance because when things touch, they look like they belong to the same plane. So I would have bumped it up just ever so slightly, something like this, so that the tail would overlap more consistently to have a better read for the distance. Then overall, I would say, yeah, some things really need to be clarified. Like you said, this blue thing here is a sword made with water, but I would suggest using maybe a little more reference for this because it's kind of hard to tell like the way it is right now. So you could probably
I would
look
say,
up
especially
some.
with the darker colors
Yeah,
on it.
like I would never use black for something that's made of water because it's really too dark. Eventually, you could do it like white. Let's see. We could try to invert it like real quick and see. Well, I don't know if I can actually. No, I probably can't. I would have to select the color range, and I can't do that. Anyway, I suggest you look up like stuff that's like weapons made of water. There's plenty of that on Google if you look it up, or even ArtStation. So yeah, basically just that. Try to use a little more reference. Also for the face, I think it's a little too simplified for what it should be. It really needs to have some more reference to kind of start popping a little more. Okay.
Yeah, the eyes are a little lopsided.
Yeah. Also the eyes and the ears. So it is very imaginative, but I would try to ground it a little more and also pay maybe more attention to the various volumes that you might have here. But in general, the thing that is more striking to me is that there's too much going on. So try to simplify it, like all the hairs here, single hairs. I would probably get rid of those and just make it. You add some little things that make it look like it's fur, basically. So
Maria says, I was trying to make the tail go to the front side, but it ended up being too flat. Yeah, that's a problem with a perspective, too.
yeah, it's yeah. Some exercises you can do are probably like boxes and cylinders in 3D space. So like I can't draw on this now because it got stuck. But I would say something, like a lot of boxes like this in 3D space, like a lot of them, and cylinders. And then you simplify it, this becomes some sort of tube. This becomes a tube on the other direction. And then you got a ball here for the elbow, the shoulder, and tube, lots of tubes, basically. And then you will notice it's going to start to look a little more three-dimensional. All right, so let's move to the next one real quick before we do the paint over. Let's see if it gets stuck. Okay, here we are. Fiddle! I know Fiddle is here. I think he's still working, but he's probably going to watch the VOD later. Nice piece, Fiddle. Really neat concept. What do you think, Chase?
Yeah, I really like the porcupine hair, and the crow is actually really good.
The crow is really good. Really well done. Really well executed. I like it's kind of looking like they're interacting to some degree. So it's interesting. I would say this is I would take this as a good starting point, basically. So, oh, sorry, I was reading chat. So
Yeah, you're welcome,
here,
Maria.
yeah. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. So for this one, the pose is not too bad. Obviously, it's a profile, and profile always feels a little more static. But I think you did a good job with like keeping the legs, a little more dynamic, and the tail is also good. See, this is not a tangent because it's overlapping enough. You could have gone as far as doing this probably. With the tail would have been fine, I guess. So I would say try to focus a little more on anatomy. It's something that I already noticed in some other pieces you shared. I think the anatomy needs to be clarified a little bit. Like here, you got the neck, right? But you don't show any attachment, so it's like the neck flows into the pecs, basically. So here you would have the sternocleidomastoid, then the clavicles, too. Probably barely being able to see that one on that side here. Then the deltoid attaches here. You got a little triangle thing. It's like a little space between the pecs and the deltoids, which is made like out of three main shapes, one from the back, but obviously it's covered. And then the pecs here, Never forget that you got a rib cage underneath, and then you attach the abs onto this, probably here, something like this. So this is mostly about really anatomy and, again, probably trying to think more in terms of simple shapes. Another thing I can point out is that it's usually a bad idea to have this sort of regular shape between front and back, because the triceps here does this kind of thing. So it's attaches high. It's like bulky here, and then it's got a tendon that attaches on the process on the ulna here. So it pulls the arm straight, right? So it gets elongated and then pulls when the arm gets straighter. It's like it's used to pull it and it bulges in that case. So something like this, making sure that there is a bit of asymmetry is always a good idea. Yeah, good luck, Maria. She's leaving. But yeah, again, simple shapes. Anatomy here again, it's a little hard to tell what's going on. Would probably be something like this. If you've got like the top part of the leg that is like human, you got the hamstrings, and then you got the gastrocnemius here, and then I don't know. I guess you would turn this into a bull's forward leg, and the Achilles tendon would become part of the rest of the anatomy. So simple shapes and anatomy. That's what I can say about this. Let's move to the next one. I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot, and Chase is not able to see anything. Oh, whose piece is this? I think it's Chase's piece. So, he's been in a nice concept. Oh, go ahead.
No, I mean, I was gonna say something about fiddles, which is, well, you kind of touched on a lot of them, but the thing about it for me was I really liked the musculature on the actual body of the Minotaur. I just felt like the torso seemed out of proportion compared to the actual limbs, and I know that it was wearing like some sort of cloth over the front part that was hanging down, and it just, I don't know, it seemed like the backside was out of proportion compared to the rest of the drawing, which I think like Nemo was talking about was an issue with some of the anatomy of it. But it was a very interesting idea.
Yeah. So here we got Chase's concept. Let's remind everybody, Chase is not a visual artist. He's a writer, but he still submitted a piece that I think is a pretty cool concept. This is more or less what I usually get when we work together. So he's got these awesome ideas that are very unique, usually. And I like this Minotaur monster because it's a very unique and interesting take on the subject. It's very alternative. So do you want to say something about this, Chase?
So yeah, I just kind of made the name. I made this just for the pun on the name, which is what I usually do. I try to come up with funny or wacky names. So the poison gas cloud, I based that off of like cartoons with bulls and whatnot, where they have the puff of smoke that comes out of their nose. So yeah, I just like, I was really originally just going to make it just made of tar, and then I came up with the idea just to make it like an industrial waste monster, kind of like Hedra from Godzilla versus Hedra. So I added the smokestacks where it's like puffing out smog and whatnot, and the curved brass pipes for horns. I just thought it was kind of a neat idea.
Yeah, it's cool, actually. I like it. And you said maybe you might want to add this to your game, so we'll see. Let me actually tell everybody that I am streaming again.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest you put that in the announcements.
Winner of the channel and okay, there you go.
My favorite part of this is actually the left hand. For some reason, I think it looks really good, even though I kind of ripped it off.
It's fine. Yeah, it's cool. It's like dripping, right, a little bit. So I think it's a really cool concept. We'll see if we can turn this into a more finished game piece. Okay, let's move to KeyCat. He's not here, I guess. Maybe you will see the. Do you think they get notified if I post in the announcement section, or do I have to use everybody, like everyone?
If you use everybody, it'll ping them. I don't think it does it natively, if that's what you're asking.
Use everyone like this. Okay. All right, so let's move to KeyCat's piece. All right, nice piece, KeyCat. Probably watching this in the VOD. I think it's cool. I don't have much to say about this because I think it's actually pretty good. If anything, you might just want to finish it a little more. It feels more like a sketch with color right now. There are some imbalances here and there, like I believe that this feels a little too large, probably just a little larger than the other. It's kind of hard to tell like how this horn is hanging. Yeah, kind of feels like, well, not a Pokemon maybe, but something like that. I would
It looks
still
like
add.
something out of like the Wind Waker, the Zelda game for the GameCube.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
the style reminds me of.
yeah. Maybe you could start adding some shadow at this point. So, something simple, even with just multiply, that just adds to the depth of the piece. But overall, I think it's pretty good. It's a good sketch. I would call it sketch because it's not super finished, but it's pretty nice. You have anything else to say, Chase?
No, I really like this one. I mean, it's stylistically very different from the other ones, but there's nothing wrong with having a different
Yeah,
style. And
no,
I think the
absolutely.
style it's going for, it pulls off very well. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, just maybe try to finish it a little more, adding
But I do
shadows.
agree with your point about the horn on the head
Yeah,
there. I have a hard time following what's supposed to happen. I would just replace that with another eye, you know.
yeah, yeah. It would be fine. I like the idea of the drape on the face though, and overall, it's like a ghostly sort of monster. Really nice, really well done. Keycat. Next up, oh hey, it's Student 17. He's here. So, nice
Oh, he's
piece,
been
Student
here.
17. Nice piece. Really nice piece. Huge improvement given what you had posted earlier. That was, I think it was too human. This one is a really nice improvement. Um, let's see. I would say anatomy is not too bad. I think you got a good feel for the third dimension because you correctly cut the arms here. Um, Maybe they would have needed to be like paired. So if the arm is going in this direction, then the hand also needs to go in this direction. But I mean, it's just it doesn't really matter. This one is actually good. Like this one is perfect. So I know you know how to do it because you did it here. So it's just a decision. It's fine. As I said, anatomy is pretty good. You might want to clarify just a little bit better with better shadows. You could try some shadow mapping maybe. And probably for some parts, well, this could be a stylistic choice, but I would have worked maybe a little more on the hooves here. They feel like they have been left as a last thing to do, and might be needing a little more definition. But it's pretty cool. So just they feel a little like blocky, which is okay. I mean, if that's a stylistical choice, it's fine. Um, but I don't really have much to say about it. Mainly, really, it's just the shadow and some anatomy, like here, would probably need to be clarified a little bit with the quads, and probably a Sartorius coming down here. But again,
Before
it's
his
mostly
comment
yeah.
gets left behind, hello to Matthew P.
Oh,
Lee on YouTube.
hello, Lee Matthew P. Welcome. So yeah, student 17. I would suggest if you say you're not good with shadows, then try doing shadow exercises like black and white. So you turn this in black and white, and you only use black and white or a very dark color. So pretend this doesn't have color. Pretend this is just a line art. You would come in, and with a multiply, you would start adding Maybe another brush. Shadows, okay? Something like this. It's probably dark, depending on where the light's coming from. So this is darker, this is probably darker. You gotta kind of try to figure it out. It's not gonna be easy at the beginning, but I'm sure you can get it. So just try to define your shadows a little more. But the line art is really good. What do you think, Chase?
Yeah, I echo all of your sentiments, and I like some of the design choices. Like I find the detached arm from the hand and then the little orbs. I think that's kind of a bold choice, but I like it. And some of the other little features, it makes it stand out from just a normal Minotaur design. So very cool and very inventive.
Yeah, very inventive, really. So you can see just adding some little, even super quick shadow mapping. It's already feeling a little more three-dimensional. Obviously, it's going to highlight your understanding or lack thereof in terms of anatomy, because obviously you have to use anatomy to guide your shadow mapping. But I'm sure you can do it. You're in a very good route, so good job. Then we have Tanya. Okay, I don't think she's here. Hopefully she's gonna see the VOD. This is a very interesting alternative piece. I'm not sure what I think the first thing that comes to my mind is that it feels busy. I believe she might have used some photo bashing, because some of these textures look like photos. I'm not 100% sure, but
Yeah,
some of
it
these
looks
details,
kind of photorealistic.
yeah, it looks photorealistic. My main concern is, like if I do this and I add a blur and I blur it. So where is it? Filter, blur. Use the Gaussian blur maybe. So if I blur it, look, like everything has pretty much the same value here. And it's really hard to tell where the center of interest is. So it's an interesting pose, but I would suggest varying your values a little more. Even using this style, it would be a good idea to just turn it in black and white. You can use Control Y in Photoshop, and it's going to enable like the dot grain percent mode. And really try to use different levels for that, apart from what I just said. Just a little pointer. It's a good idea to make one object that disappears behind something else pop out from the other side to help with the three-dimensionality. Same here, because there's a tangent, as we said before. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to grab... Chase, if you want to say something about it in the meantime, because I'm looking for something.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. I don't mean this as an insult, so don't take it this way, but it reminds me of like a 90s PC game, kind of like Warlords Battlecry or something. It has like a very Western 3D feel, like you would play this in like a fantasy game or Neverwinter Nights or something like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it reminds me of.
Yeah, I agree. So what I'm talking about is, let's see if I can pull it. Can I copy this image? So this is a small example that Andrea Loomis made, and it's supposed to talk about composition. So you got 4 values here. You got 2 light values and 2 dark values, but the point is that a composition is considered good when these elements are varied. So in this case, you basically went for a more of a scene type of piece. So you got the background, which is black, but then everything in the Minotaur has the same exact value. Okay, the horn is a little lighter, but it doesn't really follow any of these rules. So in this case, you would have, like, the hand would be very light. Then you would have a darker face, maybe. And then you would have the background. You could stop at 3, it's fine. 4 is just, if it's more complicated. So here, you could take... this duplicate, like you could take this, look at how it gets lost here. You cannot tell what is what, right? So either the hand is darker or the rest is darker. Since the background is black, you could also do something like this. Let's see. So I only select the Minotaur, and okay, I do something like this, and then I select the hand. Okay, sorry, it's really rough, but I guess you'll get the point. It's already popping a little more, but if you select it and then lighten it up, I mean, it's already looking different. Like, it's like there is a hierarchy of values at this point. It doesn't have to be the hand. It could be the eye. It could be anything. I just think that having everything of the same value kind of gets it lost. Right now, like looking at it as it is, I would feel like my eyes would probably be attracted here and maybe here or here, which I don't think is supposed to be the point of interest. So probably here, right? Because it's in a third. It's basically in a third. And the eye also is, but the eye gets really, really lost in everything else. Again, if I turn back on the blur, you see everything is the same, right? It doesn't even take much. Look at how lost the eye gets. So I would suggest really trying to find out a hierarchy of value, maybe pulling back a little bit on the photo bashing and trying to focus more on like the basic shapes. Like this one could be all dark or black. Why not? Like this. Like this could be darker. The horde could be darker. Like in the back. Maybe this one too. And then the eye could have a shinier reflection that kind of makes it pop a little. But still black and white. So yeah, this is what my thoughts are. Do you want to add anything, Chase?
Yeah, I mean, you covered pretty much everything, of course. I will say, like, in the original image, the first thing that actually drew my eye was the eye of the Minotaur, and I think that's because the eye seemed to be more in focus compared to the rest of the image, which came off a little blurry to me. Mm-hmm. So I think that Nemo's edits there would help, allow the viewer to sort of take in the whole image rather than being drawn to specific points, like he's saying.
Yeah. So next up, okay, I think we ran out of pieces. So I can start critiquing the winner. I'm actually gonna, after the stream, I'm going to post a link, or actually I will do it now. Let's see, I gotta grab it from my Twitch, because I have it in the following followers list. I'm gonna post his Twitch account. His name is Alessandro. He is Italian, like me, and he is always drawing some very interesting creatures. He's more into illustration, so he draws scenes rather than single creatures like I do. I highly recommend you guys check him out. Obviously, the stream is going to be in Italian, but he doesn't talk that much, so it should be just easy to follow the drawing. That said, as I was saying before, I will leave some links to his other profiles later below the video, so that everyone can find him. Chase, what do you think?
About this?
Yeah, I know we already talked a little bit about the winner and why it is a winner, but do you have anything else you want to say about it before I start the critique?
No. I mean, there's not a whole lot for me to say in terms of criticism, although personally one of the things that I might touch on are the eyes a little bit. I don't know how you feel about that, but... Yeah.
So here, honestly, I think the composition is good. One little thing, one thing that I noticed immediately, I think the signature is a little too much with the embossing filter like a layer effect, it's probably a little too much. So I would pull back a little bit on that. I know it's not exactly about the piece, but it's more of a presentation thing. Like I would make it maybe just flat 2D, probably on the other side, a little smaller and dark, maybe somewhere around here. So that's just a little thing. For the rest, basically, I guess it's my paint over is gonna focus around things that I already told him when he was working on it. So this is really good. Again, as I said, composition is good. The pose is also good because he used reference. Really good use of reference. This is amazing. He used references for the columns, for the Minotaur. I mean, the actual bull. Then there was a person. So I think it's a really good job in terms of illustration. That said, yeah. Oh, hello, Fiddle.
Fiddle, welcome. We did a critique of your Minotaur already. You might have to go back and watch that later.
Yep. So this is the winner, Fiddle. It's Alessandro's piece. And I'm about to do something to it, like butcher it. No. So I think that this one needs more hard edges. Everything feels like very, very fuzzy, and it's uniformly fuzzy. So it needs at least a few areas of definition. And that can be easily done by just using a brush like this one. Even the base brush, like you take the base brush, I know he uses Photoshop, so that's why I'm doing it. You take the hard round, which is obviously hard. You could use the hard round if you want to make your life really hard. But then you enable pressure sensitivity, and already, like, you get hard edges. Okay, so I use this one, which has a little more spacing, because I like the texture it gives out when it's overlaid on top of itself. But any hard edged brush works. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start by defining the outer edges and contours of the Minotaur a little bit. Now, see, I'm also trying to use a bit of that atmosphere that you have in the background to separate some parts that are actually overlapping. Like this one, like if I don't have it, it's kind of hard to tell where one thing starts and the other ends. It's not, you don't have to necessarily do it. That's also a stylistic choice, but it's kind of good practice to add a little bit of separation with some thin line or something between things. But then, see what I'm doing here is basically just going around it with a harder brush and defining the shapes. Because you want to have very solid, defined shapes in your drawings. You do not want everything to look like excessively fuzzy. Like here, I think it gets a bit lost. I can probably work on it when I am done defining the edges. There are some good ways of improving highlights and speculars and reflections, but still keeping the hard edges, because if everything is fuzzy, then everything could be potentially very bright and giving off light. But if you blur that alone, then it's gonna look like that is actually shiny. I really like the texture here, though. Like the way the texture is done, really nice.
Welcome to Emperor of Cheese.
Oh,
We
welcome.
are doing a paint over of the winner, which is not you.
Yep, unsurprisingly. So one thing that you can do, but we can come back to this later, is blur out the area, bleed out this one, right? Also with other layer styles later on, but something like this would work because this is like very shiny right now. The eyes really need a bit of this treatment. So clarifying these shapes, I know you can draw well, so I think that by using this method, you kind of lose all of the definition that you gave in the initial drawing. So it doesn't work for you. You have to basically make every step of the painting work for you and work for the painting you intend to make, which sometimes is not that clear. Like you might not be sure about what you want to do. In which case, it's fine to just leave some areas a little blurrier for a time. But at this stage, like when you finish something, you absolutely want hard edges and really well-defined shapes. I would probably go. So let's see. Yeah, the eyes need to be. First, they need to be the same size. Then they need to be defined and probably. They do not necessarily need to glow. That's something I do because I'm used to it because I like it. But probably they should probably yeah.
I was gonna say the eyes do feel lopsided to me, and I think it's because the head is tilted down a little bit, so he wanted to make the left eye a little bit larger. But I do feel like it's almost a bit of an overcorrection on his part.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like there's a little bit of a incongruity between the eyes and how big they are.
Yeah. Yeah, because this one is supposed to be covered a little more probably by the eyebrow, but it's basically facing us, so it's like a front view.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't feel like something like that is necessary in that amount.
It's already starting to look better. Yeah.
In that amount, at least, right?
Also, Emperor of Cheese says, "I win in spirit. You do not."
No, you don't. Not really. Like 0%. Alessandro's piece, I mean, he put so much effort into it. Again, as I said before, I was there when he was working on this, and he spent like at least 20 minutes just to research about what he could do with the thread and like more about the legend, also talking about it. So that was really epic. Really great job. That's a really good effort.
When I'm talking about the eyes and stuff, that's more of a nitpick. It's not like a fatal flaw of this piece because this is a really good piece.
Yeah, but you see, look at how more defined it's starting to look. While I work on this, let me also touch upon something else. I think the shadows would need some red in them. Given what you have here, you can add some red or purple-ish, probably some purple-ish in the darks to kind of make everything pop a little more. Something like this, probably. Which is something you should also add to the gold, because one of the things, actually, let me add an overlay. One thing you also want to have with gold is some red type of underpainting. Well, it's not an underpainting in digital, but it's something that creeps through the cracks of your brush, like of the texture, and makes it feel a little more reddish. It's just gonna feel more golden if you do so. Then here, on this side of the bowl, you see how if I turn this into black and white, it gets lost, like the face gets lost. That's why it's always a good idea to work on black and white a lot. Because you need to emphasize the value difference, not just the color difference. Like all the same here. Again, it doesn't need to have an outline at all. It doesn't need to be an outline, but the light's coming from there, so I would say give it some, maybe a rim light of some sort. Maybe a rim light could work. A bit of rim light. It's already kind of popping compared to what you had before, which again is really good. It just needs these very tiny corrections. You see, I'm not even doing that much. I'm simply going over what you already have and defining edges. All I'm doing here is defining edges. Nothing else. I might be screwing up the anatomy here now because I don't have the reference to see. So I apologize if I'm butchering the anatomy a little bit. But you see already, you compare it, let me group it. You see already it's looking more defined. Like it's already taken it to a different level.
Yeah.
And you can leave you could also leave the texture like it is and then define the edge. So that the texture shining through is actually going to add to it. Some anatomy here probably needs some level of shadow here. It's so the fact that it's half golden makes it really hard to predict where shadows would be, because a metal object is not, it doesn't follow the form principle. It's like reflecting off everything. So it's difficult to tell what is going on at a certain point. And without a reference, it's also really hard to tell. But in general, you want your golden stuff to have very harsh, abrupt changes in value. So I am blending here a little bit because I want to show the form, but then I'm going to have to re-add them a little bit. Use a triangle brush, actually. This could also be, to simplify things, this could also be a little more brushed, like you have it. Literally, like a brushed type of metal. So that it's a little easier to tell where shadows go. Like this one is really good. I like how you define the packs that way. Complete black, probably not, but very close to it. Again, as I said, I already told you in your stream, abrupt changes of values and also go very dark, like very dark. Shiny objects, metallic objects, usually have a much wider range in terms of values compared to normal stuff, like non-reflective or matte objects. So, by the way, Chase, if you have anything to say, feel free to while I blabber about technical stuff.
Well, this is what you're here for, because I'm not the technical artist. But yeah, I mean, like, this is already kind of a marked improvement, especially in the face. The face, I felt, was kind of like the weakest part of the original image.
Yeah, but just because it was blurry, I didn't do anything really. I just clarified the edges. So got some few more. And again, some parts do need to be less defined, but they have to be strategically placed so that you can attract attention to them.
Welcome, Zen, on Twitch.
This
is
hello,
the winner
Zen.
of our Minotaur challenge.
Yep, this is the winner, Alessandro. Who's probably gonna watch this in the VOD. Again, adding some specular highlights here because it's mage metal. Probably want to emphasize the darkness here a little more. Here, the anatomy here is pretty good. I think maybe you missed a little bit, like a little bit of the deltoid got lost here. So the packs go into here, but then the deltoid attaches over and above the packs. So something like that. Basically what you have is like something like this. So this would probably have to pop a little more. Something like that. Maybe even a little more than that. You don't really see it as a... Yeah?
Oh, no, I was just reading the chat.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, Zen was saying that he is reading Dawn to Dawn right now, which I'm not that familiar with that.
Me neither. What
Um,
is it? Is it a manga?
manga.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really into new stuff. I assume it's new or half new. Okay, I've never been much into it, but definitely not now. It's been so long. Um, Here, probably a good opportunity to use a core shadow. So a little more saturated, a little more red, a little darker, maybe even darker, and even darker. Okay, something like this.
The main character believes in aliens but doesn't believe in ghosts. The female main character believes the opposite. Is that just the premise?
So anatomy is pretty good here again. It's use reference, so very good use reference. Delts here probably gonna pop just a little, just a little bit. Let's try to use the same value. This arm is probably, I think the lighting is wrong at this. This part, like the biceps, probably wrong because it's coming from this direction. So I assume the brightest part would be this, and then everything else kind of fades away. The other side is good, like the forearm is okay. Just never, like, try to never put the highlight, which should also be brighter, by the way. Look at how dark it is. Like here. It should be like here. Try to never put it on the very edge, because when you have a cylinder, oh, I didn't add my lazy Nezumi to stabilize my brush. It's fine. So when you have some sort of cylinder, better than this one probably, trash can, and the light comes from this direction, the highlight is going to be here. It's not going to be here. The only time you get the highlight there is when you have like exactly 90 degrees light source. So very hard. Usually it's somewhere along the body of the cylinder. Actually, let me leave it here as a pointer. Let's continue with this. Again, this part is not shiny, but it's still gonna follow the same lighting principle we applied above, not above, before. So probably having some sort of reflected light from here, but this is an area where you can actually leave things a little more undefined, like the serratus here. These things can be very close in value because you do not want people to look there. It's not that necessary, so it's fine to just leave them a little more fuzzy. Again, clarifying the anatomy, so you got a yeah. Go ahead.
See you, student. Thank you for coming and joining
good night.
us.
And good job, student 17. I hope we.
Thank you for your entry.
Thank you so much. I'm glad if I did inspire you. So yeah, here, just make sure the anatomy is correct. So you got the latissimus from the back, and the serratus here, and the rib cage, so it's kind of overlapping a little bit. You might add a little darker thing. But again, all I'm doing here, and I keep doing just this, is cleaning up the edges. The edge, cleaning up the edge here. Clean up, clean up, clean up. Clean up here.
Yeah, again, see you, student.
Yep.
Just keep working on those shadows. They are pretty hard to get right.
They're really hard. That's why I suggest just doing a lot of black and white stuff. That is actually why when you study traditional art in an atelier, you do a lot of, or mostly, charcoal studies and shadow mapping. Like all you do for a while is just shadow mapping and 20-minute lay-ins because it's so hard to describe form with shadows. And usually you don't notice it because lighting is not as clear. You know, you got light from everywhere usually in normal conditions. But it's important to be able to define shadows a little more clearly. And again, here, okay, this is an area where you can actually, if you want, here you could probably add. Oh, I did this on that layer. It's fine. You could do something a little weird, I guess, something like this. It's kind of weird, but you could, like, since you got like God rays there, you can technically do something like this. So you might cast the whole thing here in shadow, basically. Although more than here, it's probably coming from like the side, a little more on the side. So I still think it might work. What do you think, Chase? Might work with something like this.
Yeah, go for it. God rays are good, except when they're overdone. That is my input.
So this can be a little more fuzzy, probably. I don't know what this is. This is like unfinished. I'll probably get rid of it because it's a non-interesting area. So here's where I would go darker. Okay, you would have the golden and the flesh. So again, probably because you have blood running under its skin, hopefully. The skin going darker tends to have a reddish tint, like in the shadows. So this could actually, you can actually blast over this, and you do not even need to define it. You could lose the edges over there. In which case, obviously, they're called lost edges because they are, well, lost. Again, here we do so. You could even do something with the background. I feel like the background might work as dark there, but let's keep it the way you have it, because you could have the whole background, like, given it starts out here very bright, you could have it darken as it gets. You did it, actually. You did it. It does get darker, but if you make it even darker than that, something like this, you can start defining the shape a little more. Obviously, the other side would be a problem at that point because you would be too bright. But let's bring this over, like the same effect over to the other side. Sorry, I'm basically not letting Chase talk today. I feel guilty.
And don't. I have a bit of divided attention right now.
All right, it's fine. So let's do something like, oops, that didn't need to be.
I actually have something to tell you after the stream is over.
Okay.
Regarding what I've been doing, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Okay. So yeah, why not? Like God rays-ish thing. Yeah. I like it. Work. This way.
There's tons of plugins and like different assets for.
Oh wait, you cut off a little bit. Wait. So cut off.
Okay, where did I get cut off at?
There are tons of plugins, something like that.
Oh yeah, there's tons of plugins and like assets for God rays and like RPG Maker and other programs. And I was thinking about adding some, but the problem is like I see a lot of games use it or people show off designs, and you got to be really careful because sometimes too much God rays a little overbearing, and
Yeah.
it can kind of mess with the scenery a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure I want the God rays here, or he probably didn't want them, but since he has that kind of light, something like that could be done. I mean, it's not necessary. It works either way. It's just an idea. It can work or not. But it's mostly fundamental, like I'm doing here, to really, really separate dark and light. I like the saturation you use here. Really good choice. This one feels very, very shiny, which is good. Good anatomy here. You got the knee, the kneecap. You got the quads, which is good. Maybe a bit of hint of the sartorius, which is also good. Man, this is really good job. It's just about the brushwork. Like, if you fix the brushwork, your level is gonna go like, really. Just the brushwork, not much. Just use different brushes, and I promise you, you're gonna be super satisfied with the things you do, because it doesn't take that much. You're just there, just a little more, just some more attention to the brushwork, and it's gonna be a hit. I hope my keyboard is not too noisy, as always. Probably used to it at this point.
Don't worry, I have my microphone near my keyboard, so whenever I'm like click-clacking, you can probably hear it.
I can't really. Somehow. Let's not forget the highlights.
One thing I'm really trying to not do is breathe too much into the mic. That happens a lot when I stream because I'm so focused on playing the game that I
So
don't
you're
think
holding
about
your breath the whole time?
I just try not to like exhale too much into the
Okay.
mic. It's easy to do on your streams because, yeah, my attention isn't as divided as when I'm playing a game and not thinking about where my mic is.
Right. Some anatomy here. They're really simple corrections anyway. This is already so good. That honestly, it's really, really seriously mostly just the brushwork. You can even leave the texture. Just make sure that you define those edges. I like this. This is really good. I like this. The emphasis, because it's golden and it's got a reflection. It's like the tibia has a darker spot. Really neat. Really like it.
Much better than my attempts at making golden things.
Making like things look metallic is not easy. It's not easy at all. It's even harder than shadows because it doesn't follow the form principle as closely.
Just duplicate the layer, turn it into an overlay, colorize it. That works.
I guess you could say that. So you could even play with the metallic aspect of it to your advantage. Like here, I added a pseudo line, but it's technically supposed to be just metal, just a reflection on the metal. So like you can just have fun and add speckles and stuff. But really, look, I'm not adding anything to it. I am just literally just emphasizing what you already have. And I want to keep stressing it because sometimes you receive a critique and it's like, oh, my piece sucks. It's like, no, this does not suck to any stretch of the imagination. It just needs different brushwork, which is, fortunately for you, very easy to do. So once you change your brush, man, I want to see what you come up with. So here, yeah, probably some, I don't know, maybe the reflection ends up being here.
I mean, making the piece is the hardest part. This is just doing touching up on it.
Yeah.
That tells you how good the piece is.
Like, it's not much. I didn't do anything to it. It just, I added some red and I clarified the shapes. That's it. Not much at all. The columns here, I think, again, get rid of the signature. It's distracting. But the columns can be a little more fuzzy. That's fine. You still want to have some degree of detail, probably in the edges, like in the outer edges of the columns. Yeah, you probably want to have them defined. Um, but I like how you stack them. Um, really, really good. Lighting a little off. Okay, I assume the light is coming through the leg, like not through the leg, but it's coming from behind the leg. So this area can be in the light and maybe some little highlights here. But this other one here, so it's to be in the dark. So let's blast some shadow. It's always a good idea to keep a very small version of what you have somewhere so that you can kind of tell what you're doing. Like even at this level, it's pretty easy to kind of figure out what to do. See how much better it looks with very few adjustments. Like it's 90% up there. 90%. Might add some reflected light here if you do not want this to be completely lost, I guess. Like a little bit, not much. Emphasizing the outer edge a little. And again, never losing sight of your drawing. If you lose it, you have to get it back. And it's, at least for me, I found that it's easier to not lose it than to try to get it back, because it's gonna be pretty damn hard unless you have a very solid understanding of anatomy and also good memory, because you have to remember what you were doing. Okay, here are actually a couple more things. Composition wise, this thread ball is too close to the edge. It's attracting a lot of attention because it's red and it's too close to the edge. And the hand here is another tangent. It's touching the frame of the picture. So you would probably want to, let me save it first. Did I save it? Okay. To increase the size a little. I think the top is fine. Top and bottom are fine. But you want to have maybe a little more breathing room on the sides. Get the treatment brush. Oops. Sorry. So because this is a full picture, you need to consider the whole frame, right? I usually do like monsters, that's it, without context. So it still needs to be paginated, not paginated, but put in on a page to a degree. But it's not as actually making a full picture, which needs a little more care in spacing. And okay, got stuck. I hate Photoshop. It happens when I move around too much. In this case, might be a good idea to just extend the canvas ever so slightly. It's not much, but you see, even having this space here is helping in breathing a little bit. I've been talking way more than I usually talk, so make sure they have the same color, by the way, the columns here. Yeah, I think the color is too different. Obviously, do not take this as I can never ever again use grunge brushes. By all means, use grunge brushes, but try to use a little less of them, maybe. Once you have the shapes defined, just do whatever, it's fine. But until then, I really recommend pulling back a little bit on the texture brushes and really trying to get those volumes in very, very well defined. If it looks a little cartoony at first, it's fine. Just make sure you have clear definition between objects. Another good thing that might help down here, see, look at how, so this leg now is very well defined. So it's starting to attract a lot of attention because you had the black here initially. Since I added the God Rays darkness here, you already have one of the corners covered. But it's a good idea to use a sort of vignetting effect. So make the four corners darker. In this case, you got a light there, so you can't, but you can do something like this. Okay. Something along those lines. And this can get just lost. Okay, it's completely black now. It's probably too much. Pull back a little bit. But it could be, again, a lost edge, for example. Urge. Same thing. On here, this one probably receiving light. So let's make it brighter. Probably want to emphasize the edge a little bit. Something like that. Oh! Oh, you subscribed, Fiddle! Thank you so much! Hey, you're the first one! I really appreciate it, man. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Thanks for your support. Yeah, I am an affiliate now. I was actually thinking, for subscribers, I might actually have a day a week. Maybe we could have like weekly exercises, and the subscribers would receive a critique on the exercises. Just thinking about it. I don't know if you're still there, Chase. What do you think about it? If so,
could you repeat that?
yeah. So I was thinking it might be a good idea to, since people can subscribe now. I was thinking of offering some like critiques based on subscriptions. So maybe we could do some creative exercises or technical exercises in the Discord each week, and the subscribers would get a video critique. Maybe we take one of the days a week and do it.
Yeah, if that's what they... That's not a bad idea, actually.
Thanks a lot, Fiddle. Really appreciate it.
We need to get you some custom emotes, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I need to get that and some like rewards for chat points. Like this guy I know, he added summons, so you can summon monsters with small animations. I'm just not able to make animations, so I don't know what I could do in that case. Something similar, maybe. So this area, it's not defined enough. It's way less defined than everything else. Maybe you ran out of time or patience, which is understandable because it's a complex piece. But I would strongly recommend not leaving parts so underdeveloped compared to the rest of the picture. People will pick on that. I was once told to stop, when I was drawing portraits, to stop leaving ears behind. Like, I was like, everything was very well rendered, and then the ear was like laid in, and that was it. So, try if possible to always finish everything, or take everything to a more or less similar finish. Basically, bring the picture together. Bring the picture to a finish altogether. I'm very focused on this, so I kind of find it hard to verbalize Yeah, I mean, without reference, it's kind of hard to get this hand correct, but I would say probably need to draw it in first. So the thumb does something like this. Yeah, I think the anatomy needs to be corrected for this hand. Probably, let's see, something like this hand would probably need to be redrawn a little bit. I know what you're going for. I understand. Oh, come on! Thank you, Chase, for subscribing.
No problem. I was just figuring out how to do it.
Okay, you guys are my first subscribers. Thanks a lot. You're gonna get the badge, I think, in the chat. This thumb needs to be moved. Be here. Okay, yeah, the thumb was off a little bit. Anyway,
Okay.
I think, yeah.
No, I was just testing to see if I got the badge or not.
You should. I see it. Yeah, you got it first. And then together with the fiddle. Yep. So
Oh, it doesn't show first for me. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's first. I think the first 10 people get it. Anyway, now, last thing before mentioning or announcing the new theme for next week. The thread. Again, because the thread is so attractive, finish the hands. I know it sucks. I know hands suck. Trust me, you saw it. You saw my frustration. Hands suck. It sucks to draw hands. But if you want to have a point of interest on one of the hands, please do finish it. Like, this is not finished enough. And it doesn't need much. Look, it really doesn't. The thread, I would pick this red and add an outline, because usually what happens if you hold a ball, how do you call this? Thread ball? Does it have a name?
Does have a name.
Okay,
Yeah.
a ball of thread wrapped up thread. I don't know. If you hold it up in the light, you will see that the very edge is bright, like very bright, because those little tiny hairs that are on the thread will catch the light. And so you could go in with some overlay and make it kind of glow a little bit. So to further define the shape, right? It will happen. It will 100% happen in this kind of situation, especially on the back. Maybe not in the front. I'm not sure. I would have to get some reference for it. But keep the thread consistent. Again, because it's a point of interest, and because it's so thin, it needs to be bright. Like, really, in the light, something like this is gonna happen here. Like, here and there, you probably have something like this. Because of the nature of the object, probably a little lighter. Now, this is not very precise, but this is sort of what would happen. You could even have brighter stuff, like you go to color dodge. Very bright. Too much. It's too much. Something like this way. I mean, maybe. Yeah, you could go a little brighter, probably in some areas. Here, but especially here. All right. Okay. So this is my critique and paint over for this. Probably stop here so that we can announce the next one. But really, really great job. Like, really. This has so much potential. And look at the original. Not very far. Not very far. I basically just defined the edges a little. So, Congratulations, Alessandro. I will send you a link later also so you can rewatch it. Um, Hopefully, you got something out of this paint over. Then, the next one. So, everybody, I was undecided about this. I really thought I would do a basilisk first, but I decided to go for the cockatrice. So, let me show you what I mean. I'll go on ArtStation. All right, here's ArtStation. So for those of you who don't know, a cockatrice is, it's like chicken dragon. How would you define it, Chase? Chicken dragon, basically.
Yeah, it's like a two-legged dragon or wyvern with a rooster head.
Yeah, it's like a wyvern. It's got dragon features and cock or rooster features, basically. So it can it's like half dinosaur, half rooster, mostly rooster with dinosaur tail here and a really thick neck. Again, giant, some sort of rooster with dragon wings. And this creature is supposed to, I think, petrify other things and living beings, if I'm not mistaken. So it's kind of a basilisk, yes. But it has the looks of a rooster as well. Because while the basilisk is mostly, or I guess completely, a snake type of thing, this is like a mix. I think it's the legend said it's something that hatched from chicken eggs, but would like the thing that would come out would be some sort of snake or something like that, if I remember correctly. It's I think it's mentioned in the Bible anyway. So
yes,
you got a lot of room here for playing. It won't be easy if you never drew animals, because you cannot turn this into some sort of humanoid thing. And that's why I'm choosing it, because I want to push it, because I'm mean. So I'm going to post later today, I'm going to post some references. And by all means, I'm going to post the ArtStation as well, so that you can see what other people do. You can look it up on Google, whatever you like. Just make sure that you understand what the prompt is. So it's some sort of dragon that has the features, most importantly, the features of a rooster. Okay, then it can be any shape, any whatever you want, but it's not a human, it's not humanoid. It is half rooster, half snake, serpent, dragon, whatever you want to call it. Yes, so unless I'm forgetting something,
Fiddle in the chat. This will be, I think Nemo mentioned this, maybe he didn't, but this will be 2 weeks too, like the last.
That's right. It's gonna be another 2 weeks. I think it's fair enough, because some people are busy, so I don't want this to feel like too much of a commitment for now. It could be even a month, but I think a month is too much, since we had a lot of entries, like basically everybody, almost everybody in the Discord participated. Yes. I think it makes sense to leave another 2 weeks. Again, I'm gonna post some references. I'm gonna post the inspiration board and everything else in the Discord later tonight. So good luck. 2 weeks, cockatrice. So we're done for now. Let me pull Photoshop back from where it was. This was the winner, Alessandro's piece. Congratulations again. This was mine. So just to remind everybody, we had a Minotaur challenge. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you, Chase, for participating. I know you were busy, but you participated anyway, so thank you so much. And
no problem.
We're going to be back tomorrow. This time, we're going to be back with the Skull Spider, and we're going to ink it, probably. So, you guys have a good one. Good luck with the challenge if you do participate. And I'm going to see you again tomorrow at the same time. Not next time. Same time.